What are you waiting for?
Come join the Geek Drums Nation. What is up, guys? Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we will be talking about the finale to this first graphic novel, the Red Death graphic novel, entitled The Mask of the Red Death, Part 2. I believe. I think that's what it is. I may be incorrect. I don't know. Don't judge me. Like I did last week, I'm going to tell you the good and I'm going to tell you my bad. But before we start, if you are not subscribed and you are seeing this video, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the alerts so you never miss another video. If you are already subscribed, please help me support this channel. Hit that like button so I can get in that algorithm. It's another 7 out of 10 for me. Another 7 out of 10. I have unanswered questions and some that they're not going to get answered, guys. It's just as simple as that. I could call them plot holes. I can call them drop storylines all I want, but they are not going to get answered. And I still love this show. I'm sticking with it to the end, no matter what. I'm just nitpicky. So you guys just bear with me. So, you know, we picked up in this episode, and it's one of the good parts. We pick up in CCPD. Red Death has the city all blacked out or whatever, has her lightning going in the sky. It's crackling everywhere. And we see, you know, the regular cop that we always see, the lady cop, I forget her name, excuse me. She's running around, she's talking to Kramer, and Kramer goes back to her office because I assume she's getting ready to call Barry. But who does she see in her office? None other than Murmur. And since Murmur's introduction, we have not seen her with the mask off. So she does have the comic accurate look. She has the lips that are sewn together and everything. It was really, really cool to see. If you guys can hear my kids in the background, I apologize in advance. They're supposed to be going to bed right now. Yeah, she has the lips sewn together, so it was really cool to see. And basically, Red Death has taken over CCPD. She's using it because the satellite that they have on CCPD can basically project the mind signal that she's putting out to control her Red Death Sentinels, her clones, her drones. You know, basically her mind projections of herself, because her big final plan is basically enforce her will by any means necessary. And with that, Red Death technically did kill somebody. We saw her kill somebody, and we can assume that these Sentinels did kill other people. That's all I wanted to see, was Red Death killing somebody, guys. And we kind of did see a poor TV thief, you know, rest in peace, still in the TV, got caught by a Sentinel, and got some lightning to the face. If he survived that, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm under the impression that he did not. So, I mean, that's a check in the win column. Red Death killed somebody. That's what we wanted because their name is Red Death. So, I mean, I jumped ahead with that, guys. I'm sorry, but like I always do, I'm going to be back and forth in this review. So, as Kramer runs out into the, you know, main corridor of, you know, the main hallway or whatever you want to call it that we see of CCPD, she runs into Red Death with her rogues. She then mimics Rainbow Raider's powers and inflicts that fear back on them. But somehow, Ryan Wilder, Red Death, can resist that. We find out later on that it is because she is using Grodd. Grodd is working with her because, again, she made a promise, and you would think Grodd would be smarter than this to believe her. She made a promise that she would figure out a way to reunite all the gorillas in Gorilla City and give them their telepathic powers back, give Grodd his people back, because he feels as if the Flash abandoned him. Now, this could be a plot hole. I could be remembering this wrong. But when Crisis first happened, after everything was reset, Cisco did say Gorilla City was on Earth Prime. Now, either this is a retcon or Eric Wallace forgot. I'd like to think it was a retcon, but we learned that Grodd is the only sentient gorilla like on Earth Prime right now. He's the only one. He's lonely, and he feels like ever since Barry left him, and like ever since Barry left his mind and, you know, let him go about his day looking for his tribe, he feels like Barry abandoned him. Why he feels like that, I don't know. I thought they had an understanding. I'm gonna let that go. I'm not gonna let that bother me. But yeah, so he's boosting her powers, and she lets Barry know that after she tricks him into coming to find Mark, which is an image that she placed in Cecile's mind, which is another thing she was able to, you know, sense and resist and push her out. Red Death is growing increasingly more powerful because she's using Grodd. Now, in that aspect, I thought that was good storytelling. She has a contingency plan for everything. She may go off the rail sometimes, but she has a contingency plan for everything. And she literally recruited a lot of rogues just to help. But our boy Barry did turn Grodd back around for good because he saw the good in Grodd 3 years ago. And I did feel for the big ape. He lost his family. I felt for him in that instance. It was just good having him back on our screens for the final season. Grodd was one of the best, villains that we had on the show, a consistent one. He looked good in every single appearance. To me, it looked like they shrank him down some. Did you guys feel like that? Did you guys feel like Grodd was physically smaller than he was, in previous appearances? I don't know. Maybe it was just me tweaking. But ever since we saw that scene in the trailer, everybody was theorizing it was going to be Grodd. Turns out they were right. Kudos to you guys. So, some other things that I liked were the fact that the rogues did, after they come back from, basically thinking Mark is dead, they have that whole conversation and they're basically like, it was nothing that they could do. Goldface threw out some jabs at Chillblaine, some names that we call him like Chill Lame, and he called Allegra Lightbright, stuff that we would say on the internet. So it seems like the writers were pulling stuff from that they saw on Twitter and just threw into the script. Maybe are they giving us a shout out like that, guys? Are they shouting us out like that? But the rogues are making a lot of sense. For rogues, it's either kill or be killed. It's every man for himself, and they feel like Chillblaine betrayed them anyway. So rightfully so. The rogues are all for themselves, and Team Flash is for we don't leave anybody behind. But again, like I said, that's when they use Cecile to basically infiltrate her mind because she's mad. She's sending out all of these emotions of rage and anger and revenge. So Cecile can pick up on that. And that brings me to something I did not like. The whole Joe and Cecile dynamic, these first few episodes has been very, very off. I mean, I get Joe wanting to protect, but it's the same thing as the whole Chalegra stuff. The will they, won't they? Last week, Joe said he was going to stay. This week, Joe was saying, okay, you stay, which I figured that was going to be the case when they first said Jesse L. Martin was leaving, that Cecile was going to stay in Central City and he was going to move away. So their whole thing is, you stay, Cecile, you be a superhero, you come spend weekends with me and Jenna, and it's just us three. Okay, yeah, that's cool, but that's bad writing to me. Or I won't even say bad writing. I think that's just a dumb decision. I didn't like that story beat. I may be alone in that, but I didn't like that because that doesn't feel like Joe. This whole storyline feels like a huge drastic change to Joe's character arc. And he's more of one. He's the heroic type. He's not one to just run. But I mean, he's retired. He just wants to move on from the superhero life. I guess I get it, but at the same time, I didn't like it. I didn't like it, guys. I'm sorry if you all did, but I mean, that's just where we'll differ in opinion on, on this one. After Cecile successfully finds Ryan, and literally Ryan is fighting her out of her mind, but gives her a little image of Mark. That's when Ryan rushes in and, throws lightning at everybody, blowing everybody back. At this point, Barry has 0 speed left. She puts him in the mine, tells him that what he did to Grodd, like I mentioned earlier, was his greatest failure. I don't see how that's I'll leave that alone. I don't see how that is like his greatest thing that he's ever done wrong. Maybe she thinks so because now she has the added ability of a gigantic telepathic gorilla. Maybe she thinks that that's that's the worst thing he's ever did was like let his guard down with Grodd. I don't know, but I don't think that qualifies. But I'll leave that alone. So she brings him there. She shows him all of that. When he goes back, basically everybody is still left there, and Red Death is gone. She went back to the precinct. Was she ever really in the warehouse though? Because like the mind game she was playing, was she ever really there? Oh, when she stepped on Barry and said down boy or whatever she said, I wish that was me in that instance, though. I'm not even going to lie. I'm a simp for Javicia Leslie. I ain't afraid. I ain't afraid of it. Also, guys, don't mind my background. I'm remodeling. I'm remodeling the space. It'll be different next week for the live stream. So yeah, don't mind my background. It's a little bare, but I'm remodeling. Anywho, I mean, Joe gives Barry, excuse me, a good old fashioned pep talk. He uses one of the teleportation bombs balls to go talk to Grodd. They have their heart to heart. They figure this whole thing out. Grodd gives Barry the speed force that was left in his mind. Don't really know how that works. Either way it goes, Barry got his speed back. I understand why they take Barry's speed every single season, but it's the final season. You think they wouldn't do that because we have limited episodes. I really hope they don't do it again in the back half of the season. If they do, that's a dumb decision. You don't need Barry to be depowered, and you only have 13 episodes. Again, I'll leave that at that because I don't want to upset anybody. Once Grodd takes back, basically stops helping Ryan, all of the clones, they slowly disappear. Team Flash sees it on the monitors that the clones are disappearing. So then this is when Barry and Ryan, they square off in the middle of Central City. This is when the episode literally took off for me. It took off. This was one of the best speedster fights that we have seen. I mean, Red Death is throwing lightning charged batarangs, and like Barry is doing a speed force shield, and the running looked amazing. Honestly, for a first time runner, Javicia Leslie's form as Red Death was great. It didn't look all weird like Jordan Fisher and Jessica Parker looked. They looked weird, and you can't say that they didn't. Nora and Bart's running looked weird for their first times, but Javicia fell right in line. She probably got some lessons from Grant on the side, how to make it look real. But that fight looked amazing. The fight was amazing, especially since we have been waiting for this fight since episode 1, and we finally got it. Like, she, even with the grappling hook, she did the grappling hook and swung around and did the kick to Barry. And of course, Barry was on the ground. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because she hit him with the lightning, and obviously her artificial lightning negates his powers. So of course he was down on the ground trying to collect himself. While he was down on the ground, that's when the Great Value Rogues, that's what I call them. That's when the Great Value Rogues showed up. And, they handled business. I can't even lie. They handled business. And then that's when you have the GOAT show up. Batwoman. She showed up, and they were evenly matched. But when she showed up and threw the batarang into like the power source of the suit and was like, let's see how you fight without your speed, basically, in so many words, they were evenly matched. I feel as if Red Death Ryan fought a little bit more dirty, but our Batwoman handled herself. She says, "You're just me with a bad hair day." I laughed out loud at that because I'm like, I felt I'm a Javicia simp guy. So, I mean, that line worked for me. So she handled Ryan, and all she was doing is basically just holding off evil Ryan until Barry could speed in and rip off the power source. And he ripped off her mask for good measure too. I'm like, you could have left the mask, just rip off the power source, but it worked. And then you get more of the campy Ryan Wilder screaming from Red Death, and then Batwoman just knocks her out. And then that was that. Oh, I can't leave off. Well, it's Wednesday. I could have done without that cringy line from the Rogues, and then they're like, Ryan's like, "I thought you were the bad guys," and then Piper's like, "Well, we're the good guys sometimes," or some. It was something cringy. I kind of tuned it out. It was cringy, but yeah, the fight was very satisfying. The final scene in Star Labs where they were all talking, and Ryan Wilder literally pays off that one panel in the Batwoman comic, in the Batwoman Earth Prime comic, where she meets Lena, and Lena basically tells her Cara Danvers has been, keeping an eye on you, and or whatever, whatever it said. It's been so long since I read it. I'm paraphrasing. Excuse me if I'm wrong. But she name drops Cara, Alex, and Nia. Why did I forget her name for like 2 seconds? She name drops Cara, Alex, and Nia Long, and Nia Nall. I said Nia Long. Who am I talking about, guys? But yeah, she name drops them. Basically a callback to the comic, which I liked. Eric Wallace, thank you for that. So letting us know that these comics are canon. And she does know Supergirl. So she's getting all the super friends. And to basically see her alongside the Flash, this is something I wanted. I wanted to see her alongside the entire Justice League. But if we got this as a way to say goodbye to Javicia Leslie's Batwoman, I'm happy. Like I said, this episode was a 7 out of 10 for me. Some plot inconveniences, but I mean, hey, what can you do? This storyline is over with. And at the end of the day, the past 2 episodes have made up for the first 3 being extremely slow and basically filler. They made up for it, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Oh, and before I go, yes, the West Islanders are having a fit because Keon spoiled the pregnancy. At least it wasn't Cecile. Also, a thing that I still did not care for was the Chalegra passionate kiss that got like a whole rotating camera shot, and the rest of Team Flash was just sitting there like, when did this happen? I don't think that deserved that much attention. But hey, if you're a Chalegra fan, you got it. At least they're gonna stop with the will they, won't they? Unless they break up again next week. I don't want that. But knowing the show, it might happen. But hey, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, did you guys like this episode? Like I said, again, 7 out of 10 for me. Let me know what you think down below. This is Lance from the feature of that video. How could I forget? Barry done knocked Iris up finally. Nora West Allen has been conceived. And Keon spoiled it. Also, I just don't like Keon and her hippy-dippy nonsense. But Nora West Allen is on her way. We have pregnant Iris on the show in the final season. I know some people are happy about that. I know some people don't like the way it was revealed. But, hey, it's revealed. It's out there. Let's go. Like I said, like and subscribe to my channel. Share this video around. Leave comments down below. And, hey, I'll catch you in the next video. Join the Geek Drums Nation. Until next time, guys.